Welcome back to the channel, man. Ralo pulled up on Boosie after they went back and forth dissing each other. And the main thing is that Boosie, he want to be the only OG like out there that's, from the streets and everything. And so once Ralo came out, he forgot. Boosie must have forgot or something. Ralo was the real deal at that time, man, because when Ralo was shining, he was with Dolph and Gucci and all these different things, right? Boosie was nowhere to be found at that time. And so now that Ralo's back out and he's taking his community back, he's taking the streets back and everything like that. He's trying to show he got everything, the Maybachs, the properties, he got back his Pakistan apartments and all that. And so now Boosie looking at it like, oh, it's some competition. He don't want Ralo to take the spotlight from him. And so Boosie had to basically call him out. Like, for Boosie to be able to continue doing what he was doing and for people to listen to him, he had to call out Ralo and basically call Ralo a snitch and everything for being able to get out of his sentence a lot earlier. And what Ralo said to respond to Boosie is that Boosie wasn't there. He don't know none of the people that was a part of this whole thing. He had no information on when they did the bust on Ralo and when they stopped his van and everything like that. Like, Boosie wasn't there. So how is he all of a sudden saying all this when he didn't say nothing back then when it all happened? And so this is why Ralo, he responded back to Boosie. He said Boosie should keep his name out his mouth and basically leave him alone. And it's like these two brothers been going back and forth at each other and everything when they should have been came together and teamed up to get billions and all this thing, man, because they have to put their differences to the side. One thing you got to understand is that when it comes to the street mentality and everything, the way that Boosie want to be seen, he don't want, because Boosie did a long time. He did 10-year bids and he was about to do a 5-year bid, but he got out of that. And a lot of people was calling him a snitch for whatever reason for him being able to get out of that, because he got caught with evidence on live and everything. It's a clear cut and dry case. And so for Boosie to go at Ralo's neck and try to say that he snitched to get out of his sentence, when Boosie know for himself that he had to do something to get out of his own 5-year bid from that San Diego situation. And so both the dudes, they had to try to do whatever to dip and dodge out of the time that they had to serve and everything like that. But for them to call each other out, for Boosie to call out Ralo and try to put down another man and everything like that, that don't make no money for Boosie. He might go out and get some more interviews with Vlad so he could talk bad about another man and everything like that. But we got to stop doing that, man. This is when we got to learn as a community to come together and everything, because the way that Ralo was moving, the way that Boosie was moving, they was on their business. They was on a whole lot of money stuff. And so they could have kept doing that and they could have brought everything together. They could have started something to pretty much like push whatever message that they agree on, because a lot of people got to put their differences to the side. It don't really get nobody no further. They trying to go at war with each other and everything like that. You don't want to go at war with Ralo. He got a lot of people. He's not going to do the damage himself. Same thing with Boosie. Boosie's cousins, you seen what happened with the whole situation with Duke the Jeweler. When Boosie's hungry and he needed to come up with that $1 million in 48 hours, everybody around Boosie started dropping like flies and their pockets got ran through when they searched them and found them in the corner, picked them up. So at the end of the day, you got to realize that both dudes was trying to keep they hustle going and everything like that. But for Boosie, like, he was looked at as a hood role model, right? And an OG who's still getting money and everything, like a old, like a lot of these rappers that fell off. But Boosie's still going. He's still doing shows. He's still got movies and everything coming out. And so, but then when Ralo got out, now all the attention turned to Ralo, because Ralo, he was with Dolph. He had the whole connection. Like, they was already doing something big. Ralo already had major businesses before he had to sit down and do his bid. And Boosie didn't have the estates back then. Boosie didn't have the properties that he had. Boosie came up during the time that Ralo had to sit down. Now that Ralo's back and he got all of his money out the whole jam, and he got all of his Maybachs, and he built up the whole 5-story building, and he about to change his whole block. He's showing everybody that he could do the Boosie estates on his own block in Atlanta, like where it all started and everything like that. And so This is the main reason why Ralo, he was trying to keep everything in his same hood. He's trying to let everybody know he still got a lot of control, like and power out here. A lot of people, they go to Ralo and listen to him for making decisions and advice. And, you know, they sit down with Ralo to consult, and he like basically he's one of those OGs that people got to sit down and check in with to make sure to get advice, to get anything. If they got a problem, a girl problem, they got a money problem, they got a family situation that's going on. And so they go to Ralo so Ralo could take care of a lot of people's bills. Like, he paid a lot of people rent. He paid a lot of people utility bills and everything like that. And so you got to understand, Ralo was already looking out for his whole community. He was looking out for Dolph's community too. And so Boosie came around, and he basically was getting his bread and everything. And we haven't seen too much of how Boosie was giving back. He wasn't giving back like Ralo and Dolph did. And so this is why Ralo was like, yeah, man, you holding back on your everything like that. He had to respond to him, because Ralo's not just going to let Boosie talk about him and everything without saying nothing. He was going to let him know how he felt about him, or that if somebody's hating on Ralo, if anybody's hating on somebody, he gonna respond back and let them know, like, okay, look, I ain't gonna listen to the haters. I'm gonna brush them off because they peons and everything. They little guys, right? And so he's just like, yeah, I hear the haters talking, but you know, we gonna ignore that. We gonna keep getting our money over here, because we gonna let the haters crash out and keep that energy when, you know, everything run low on them. So at the end of the day, you got to realize that these two dudes has got millions and millions of dollars, but it's like, why is it that they have to go at each other's necks and throats and everything like that? Like, people got to realize, like, Boosie, when he gets his millions and everything, he's got to keep from crashing out and trying to have beef with everybody in the hood. Boosie wants to have beef no matter what. He wanna always basically make it to where he has to talk about somebody, bring them back up and everything, because a lot of time this attention from the beefs keeps a lot of these rappers' pockets going. It keeps them getting booked and everything like that. And so a lot of the time when the rappers start beefs, it's all a attention grab, man. It's all a publicity stunt. And so that's what you got to look at it as, man, because there's no way that these two dudes got millions like that and they can't enjoy their life. They have to argue. They got to fight each other. They got to call each other out and diss each other and talk down and bring down another man with the whole world watching. So at the end of the day, you got to realize that the being humble is going to actually get them a lot more bread, because them doing the talk is creating a certain type of karma, is making them so that Boosie can't come to Atlanta, because now he got to watch out for Ralo. Ralo, if he goes to Louisiana, Baton Rouge, now he got to keep an eye out for Boosie's people. And so same thing on both sides. And so now that they not rocking with each other, messing with each other, whatever bag or whatever opportunities that would have came their way, if they would have put their differences aside and would have linked up together for just the greater good, now they don't get that because they chose to beef. So at the end of the day, you got to learn the lesson from all this, man. Whoever wants to be the bigger man and basically just brush off the haters, whoever's talking, whoever's doing the most talking, just brush them off. And so Ralo already doing that. Ralo said he don't gotta get into the beef and keep it going with Boosie. He don't gotta amp it up and bring more energy into it. He's not gonna give no energy to none of the haters, and that's how everybody should be treating it. Like, don't give no energy to none of the people that's hating on you. Don't give no energy to people who don't want to see you win, because that's all you got to do. If you giving them energy, then it's going to continue to bicker backer. So you just got to shut it down. No response, ignore them, boom. So that way they words never got through, basically. And so that's how both these dudes got to look at it and just get their money and get their generational wealth and take care of their families, because that's all people got. All of that stuff could go away in the blink of an eye, in the snap of a finger. All the millions and everything like that could go away because of decisions that they already made in the past, and they past beefs and people who already trying to get them. And so at the end of the day, if they should start arguing and come together and show everybody that we don't have to keep arguing. All the people that's watching them in the hood, they don't have to keep arguing and being in beefs and everything like that. That should be in the past. Now we should move forward and basically end all beef, stop crashing out. You see people getting 10, 15, 20 years. You see people getting dropped left and right for petty little beefs. People will pretty much crash out and throw their whole thing away, operations away. They'll throw away the people that helped them and all of that just over some petty little things, man. And so you got to recognize who that is and basically make sure that you don't fall for none of that and don't give no energy into anybody that's hating. And that's the way Ralo's doing it. And Boosie seeing now Boosie realizes he didn't really benefit nothing from calling out Ralo from the beef. Now it's more problems than anything else. And so now if they don't want no problems, then they should stop beefing with each other. But this is how rappers do things, you know, from where they are, the way they was raised. Some people don't think the same. Some people don't think straight. A lot of people think like, you know, more on basically doing harm than doing good. Some people thinking about money. Some people thinking about stealing. Some people thinking about all this other stuff. So what you got to do at the end of the day is think about making sure that you taking care of what you got to take care of and don't be talking down on a whole nother person. And so we had to point out the differences and we had to show and tell everybody that, okay, this whole thing about them beefing with each other is really to just get more attention and more bookings and things for interviews. You got to realize that they don't really want no street problems with each other. They just wanted to state their opinions because they know that it's going to keep a lot of eyes watching. So let me know what you think about this whole entire thing.